I'm with UAB Arts and Medicine, and I'm so happy that you've all joined us for this Virtual Mental Health Monday. Virtual Mental Health Mondays, we've been doing these since May, and really we take this, it's a monthly event where we look at different topics that affect our mental health and well-being, and we look at it through a lens of arts and creativity. And so tonight we have Dr. Chris Strang, our own, one of our own UAB professors, and her colleague, Dr. Patricia Isis, who we are so excited to meet. And so I am not going to take up any further time. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Chris Strang to talk about this really important issue, especially now, of grief and the arts and art therapy.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for being here. The turnout's wonderful, and I guess that speaks a lot to the need for this. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself to start with. I'm a board-certified art therapist. I work in the psychology department at UAB, and I have a PhD in behavioral neuroscience. At UAB, I do basic science research, and I teach graduates and undergraduates fundamental behavioral neuroscience and introduction to creative arts therapies. I'm also a credentialed eating disorders creative arts therapist supervisor, and I work part-time at a Center for Eating Disorders, a partial hospitalization program where I provide group therapy to individuals recovering from eating disorders. So that's just, I wanted you to kind of have a sense of who I am, and I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Patricia Isis, who is a very close friend and colleague who I wouldn't be able to present with because she's in Miami, except for this wonderful Zoom opportunity. So, Patricia?
Thank you so much. This is really a fabulous opportunity, as Dr. Strang has just mentioned. I'm madly in love with the profession of art therapy and have been privileged and delighted to practice for the last 41 years and probably into the next life if there is one. And my interest in grief has stemmed back to when I lost my mother when I was 21. And one of my ways of coping with this really devastating loss is that I researched grief and became a grief specialist. And it's interesting how grief theory has evolved through the years. And being an art therapist, when Dr. Strang invited me to co-present with her, I was thrilled that we could offer you all today some resources. I'm a board-certified registered art therapist, and my PhD is in the expressive therapies with an emphasis on art therapy. Both my master's degree and my doctoral dissertation were on grief and the arts. So I work full-time right now in Miami, Florida in the school system. We have a clinical art therapy department, and I also have maintained a private practice for about 35 years. And I really grateful that I get to teach, more importantly, practice mindful self-compassion, which is giving yourself compassion because you're suffering, which is counterintuitive. So we're going to offer you a bunch of these kinds of tools today, hoping that in this hour you will leave with much more than what you have come here with to begin with.
Yeah. So both of us believe in the power of creativity, and that's where we start, is the idea that creativity is healing and life enhancing. And it doesn't matter whether you're an artist. It doesn't matter whether you feel like you can draw well. It's the idea that creativity is a response to pain. It's a response to joy. It's kind of an innate human piece. So many of you work in gardens. Many of you write. Many of you do your own artwork. So we want to be able to have you connect with that creativity. And some of you may be uncertain about your creativity, and whether you like what you create, whether you're judgmental about it, the idea is that creativity is in and of itself healing. Now, art therapy is a little bit different because it's the idea that we can use creativity in lots of different ways, right? For stress reduction, spontaneous self-expression, healing, for fun, that type of thing. And so people can make art, they can write and draw, and so there are lots of different ways to harness that creativity. You can harness it yourself for your own enjoyment, stress reduction, arts and medicine uses creativity constantly in such a wide variety of areas, which is why I'm so excited to be part of, have any kind of connection with arts and medicine. And art is an adjunct to medical care, and they've done this. This Mental Health Mondays is just a small part of what arts and medicine does. And then creative arts therapies are regulated, integrative mental health and human services professions. And we work to enrich the lives of individuals, families, communities through active art making, through the creative process. We also apply psychological theory and human experiences. We're master's level clinicians, and we have specific training in how to use the healing inherent in the art process. So that's why both Patricia and I talked about being board certified, because there are differences in how we approach the art. So we're going to hopefully have you get a sense of how you can harness your creativity. But one of the things we want to make clear is that this is not an art therapy session. Um,
It is
we,
therapeutic,
it
however.
is it is therapeutic, but we're not. Art therapists don't analyze artwork anyway. Um, but we want you to connect with your own creativity and your own sense of feelings. And so we'd like to talk a little bit about the intentions for what our intentions, what we hope for tonight. Um,
Yes, because we know that art brings order to chaos, that it contains our suffering for us and gives us something to refer back to. And it's as Chris was saying, it's not important whether we consider ourselves artistic or artists. This is about spontaneous expression and accessing the inside and create making the invisible visible so that we can create a safer connection to these parts of ourselves that are so difficult and challenging to us. And so our intention is to help create resources that you resonate with to help balance the sadness and mourning with hope and meaning. And that's a beautiful process that evolves over time. This is more like a tasting. We don't expect you to have huge epiphanies, although it has happened. Art making is very magical and can bring tremendous connections for us that we didn't realize beforehand. However, the idea here for us and our intention in creating this presentation for you all is to offer you enough resources that you can then find ways to balance the mourning and the grief with hope and meaning.
yeah, because you're here because losses and grief are difficult anyway, and losses around the holidays are even more difficult. And this year with COVID is even harder than ever. And it doesn't matter whether it's the first Christmas or holiday without somebody or the 51st, right? It still comes up. It's still a reminder. Um, and some of you are going to have old losses. You're going to have new losses. You're going to have expectations, isolation. There are all sorts of feelings, and we're hoping is that that you can allow yourself to balance between the grief, um, and between the hope and the healing. So remember, you all know this already, and at least probably know it intuitively, is that there are stressors associated with the primary loss, right? A loss of a person, a loss of a pet, a loss of a loved one in many different ways. There are many types of losses. And then there are secondary stressors that are consequences of the loss. So it's never simple, it's never just one thing. And then we have expectations around we should be healing, we should feel this, we should feel that, all of the shoulds that make us even less comfortable. So what we hope is to acknowledge whatever feelings you have on one side, but also to support the healing and the realization that each of you have your own process and your own journey, where you're going to constantly balance between positive and negative, and that it is exacerbated. It gets worse at the holidays.
And
Um,
it's that opening and allowing, turning
mhm,
toward, which is the mindfulness practice of
mhm,
of allow, calling it out, name it, you can tame it, and expecting an abundance of feelings. We tend to label them positive or negative, and the negative feelings get a bad rap, and yet they are the feelings that create the most healing for us because they get our attention, and they're as valuable as the positive feelings. And we hope that that balance will also extend between all emotions.
Mhm. Right. And this is where self compassion comes in. We are really good at caring for others, but we have to learn to care for ourselves. And we really have to be gentle with ourselves, especially around the holidays with expectations, right? Think of all the different things that people can mourn, right? Not just loss of a loved one, but loss of relationships, loss of jobs, loss of possibilities. Um, all of we can, any kind of change, even the change you most long for in your life is associated with loss of something else, letting go of something else. So, and then we have the isolation. I mean, many of you are spending your evening here with us, which I'm incredibly humbled by. But it also speaks to the isolation and expectations around the holidays and the need for at least acknowledgement and hearing and being seen.
And also
Um,
the loss of our traditional rituals.
mhm.
Many of us that we're not going to be able to be with certain family members is such a disappointment and a letdown. And yet, oftentimes there's a silver lining in these difficult moments
Mhm.
that creates balance.
Right. And finding a silver lining doesn't mean, oh, you should be grateful for this because it is acknowledging the loss and then finding the meaning and what you can learn and grow from it. It is not the same as denying the loss. And we're really good at denying the loss, but maybe not as good as it. So for me, one of the most special things about Tony is Patricia and I have known each other for a very, very long time, yet we've never presented to each together, and if we were doing this in person, I would never be able to present with Patricia. So it doesn't make all things better, but there's a piece of hope and connection that is associated with this for me. So it's part of my gratitude about being here. So it's about that's one of my pieces of hope from all of the different things that come up, right? So that's what we're hoping for you. That's the balance, is visibility, connection, um, and visibility, connection, and just the idea that of connection with with yourself, and potentially with others.
And in doing this, if at any time any amount of adversity or triggers are activated for you, we want to be sure that you take good care of yourself. So we don't know. Art sometimes can inspire something that we weren't expecting. So safety is of ultimate importance here. And if at any time you feel uncomfortable during any part of this, back off. Take a breath.
Mhm.
Perhaps close your eyes for a minute or look away. If you need to close your camera, that's okay. It's so nice to see everybody here, that you're present, that you showed up. That takes tremendous courage in and of itself, because this is about being human, that we're all compassionate messes together.
Yeah. So you know that's exactly it. And so, you know, so that's self compassion. So what we're not going to do a therapy group, and we're not going to talk at you for an hour. Um, what we want you to think about is how you reach hope when feelings come up, how you reach hope if you're triggered. How can you practice coping skills if you allow yourself to be vulnerable and feel both the loss and the hope, because hope can be vulnerable as well. We're going to ask you to participate a little bit and to use your own creativity. Um, so this picture, we're going to have up. I want to talk about this picture because this is a cave drawing, a cave painting from 13,000 years ago. People have been doing art and making their mark and being creative for as long as they've been able to find ochre and paints and putting marks on the wall. So what they did with this, they put colors of ochre on their hand and pressed the wall, or they put their hand up against the wall and threw the colors at it. And what you have then is this whole group of hands of people making their marks, reaching out, and community. And that's our hope for you. And there's something innate about it. If people have been doing it from whenever they figured out they could leave a mark, we're hoping that you can connect with some feelings and some experiences tonight. Um, so
Because we
what we'd
all
like,
have a hand in it.
yes,
And we're
exactly.
intimately connected. Whatever you're feeling, a billion other people are feeling at the same
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
Within a different context, perhaps, yet we're
Mhm.
all in this together. That common sense of humanity, and yet we feel so alone in our pain.
Mhm. Yeah. And, the fact that you're here means that you're not alone, even if it feels that way. So part of what we hope that you get later on through tonight is how to listen to each other and how to see each other and how to feel seen and heard, because that's really crucial. So we're going to start though with the creativity part. Um, and some of you may have seen from the registration that we were hoping you would find something in your environment. And if you didn't bring it with you, look around. Anything in your environment that represents your expectations for the holidays. It could be something you pre-planned. It could be something just random. So when Patricia and I were planning for this, we both tried to do it, and neither of us had planned. And we looked around and really quickly and found something, and realized that it fit. Um, and so you can look around anything in your environment that represents your expectations for the holidays, whatever those are. Um, and then and then if you have pen and paper, if you have some of you hopefully have some art materials nearby, colored pencils, markers, anything. And if you don't have anything to hand, you can imagine. So think about, draw or write or imagine how the item that you found in your space connects to both loss and to hope. And just give yourself some time. We'll give you about 15 minutes to do that. So find something in your environment, um, and be creative about how it connects to both loss and to hope.
Go with your first inclination. Try not to think too much about it. Let your heart speak for you. There's no wrong answer. And try not to be attached to the outcome. Just allow whatever comes up to come up. Go with the authentic, not it should be this way or it should be that way, because there's no wrong answer. There's no way you can get this wrong. It's all truth and heart.
Mhm. Yeah. just a few. Okay, take just a minute or two to finish up. Um, Find a stopping place and take a breath. Notice where you are and what you're feeling right now. Notice the hope and whatever else you feel. It's often hard to stop if you're in the middle of a creative process.
Yeah, you may want to continue after this is over or over the holidays, over time. A living, breathing art piece.
So, what we're going to do, because we feel that connection is so incredibly important, and that sharing and being present for each other is really important, we're going to ask you to go into small breakout rooms for just a short period of time. Um, and um, we're going to give you a little bit of information about how to use the time and how to connect with one another.
And we're going to offer you an opportunity for what's called compassionate listening. And what that means is posturing ourselves as listeners, because you're going to have a chance to do both. But as the listener, paying attention to my posture. Am I open to what's coming in? I might be closed up, but knowing I'm closed up. And leaning in and holding the space for the other person to have their voice however they wish. Whatever you want to say about your piece, whatever feels safe, we're not going to fix or give advice or interrupt. It's very difficult because you're going to connect with each other in ways you may not expect. You might want to say something. So do your best to keep the space open for that person to put in it what they need to with their voice and with their artwork and with their writings or whatever they'd like to share. And then you're going to switch roles. Each person will have 3 minutes. And so I invite you to use all your senses as the listener, watching, smelling, tasting, hearing, noticing your whole experience in your body as you hold the space. And those of you that are sharing, again, the same idea of noticing how it feels to be heard, to be seen, to be given this quality of attention, of curiosity, of kindness. That really is a loving connection.
So, we're going to ask you to also take the risk when you're in the breakout rooms, and if you're comfortable when you come back, to go ahead and share your video so that you can see each other and make that connection. It's hard to connect over Zoom. But part of that listening and part of that being present is to take the risk to see each other as well. Obviously, we're not going to force you to do that, but I think it will make your experience more powerful.
And also
Um,
safer. It
mhm.
allows us to see that you're here, you're really present. We're here and you're here. We're all here in
Should
this.
I do it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and set up the breakout rooms. And what you'll do if you haven't gone into a breakout room before, you'll get an invitation. So Dana will go ahead and start the breakout rooms, and then you should be seeing an invitation. Just click join. If you have a question, you can leave the breakout room and come back, and you can come back to the main room at any point. And if you find yourself alone in a breakout room because not everybody has joined, please come. You're also welcome to come back, and we'll reassign you so you can be with other people.
Okay, so some people, let's see. kept their cameras off still, which is interesting.
I am joining room 4. They're asking for help. Hello. Hey, Allison. Y'all needed help? There you go. Can you hear? You need to unmute yourself.
Okay.
All right. Cool. I'm going back.
Is this supposed to be 3 people?
I think you've just got 2 right now. I'll see if I can throw somebody else in when I get back to the middle.
Dana, can you let them know when their 3 minutes is up so that we can? And do you want to let this person in? Okay, Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Sarah's got. Oh, hey, Sarah. Somebody had 2. Let me move you to 3.
Sorry.
There's Sarah.
It's
Trying to
okay.
get situated.
Yeah.
I'll put you in 3, Sarah. You should be able to go.
Okay.
4's kind of lonely too.
Okay. So if there's only one person in 4, go ahead and move them to another room.
Oh, there's 2.
Oh, there's 2. That's fine.
I'm not sure they're real happy about it, but there's 2. I didn't get the time to.
We go
Yeah.
ahead and just send a message. We started at 6:39, I think, but start counting from 6:40.
Okay.
And that way they've got just a couple minutes. It took people a little bit of time to join the breakout
Right,
rooms. So
and then they can switch.
yeah.
Yeah, we're good on time. We're okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and so at 6:43, let people know to change to go on to the next speaker, and then at 6:46,
we'll come back.
yeah,
Okay.
You want to let Diana in? Should I let Diana in?
yeah, go ahead. I'll
I'm
admit,
sure.
yeah. Okay. Mhm.
Oh, I see. Some people just didn't accept. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some shy people.
Mm-hmm.
Although some of them. Oh, I see one that I need to move.
Mhm.
Oh goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's hard doing great breakout rooms with a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't see all of them on my screen. My screen's pretty big.
And some people
Yeah.
might be getting kicked off too.
Yeah, it's easy to happen.
So Claudia's coming in now. And now would be a good time to, let's see, it's almost time.
Yeah.
This is that time to
Okay.
switch. Not
Yeah.
yet. Yes.
Just ask people to switch to the next person. Yeah.
Reverse roles.
It is not letting me see the bottom to do that. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I have. Co-hosts can't do anything. There we go. Switch roles, please. Perfect.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And most rooms have 3 people in them, right?
Yeah, room 9 has 2.
Okay. So we have it. Yeah. So we should have like it'll be a total of 9 minutes. For
Oh,
people.
that's right.
It's going to be a total of 9 minutes. So
Yeah.
we'll switch roles again in a couple minutes, and then we'll have everybody come back.
Because we started at
6:40.
Yeah, we were going from 6:40.
But then we really want to give another 3 minutes, right? If it's 3
Yeah.
people, each person gets 3 minutes. So
Yes.
we've only had one person share so
Right.
far, right?
We'll switch
Now we're
in
the
another.
second person, so you'll have to switch roles one more time.
Right. So we'll finish at like 6:48, 6:49, and have everybody. We'll close the breakout rooms at 6:48 or 6:49. Have
Okay.
everybody come back, and then we'll
All right.
just do a quick.
I do have one room with 4. Maybe they'll adjust.
Yeah. You can send them a little broadcast. They'll figure it out.
Hmm. Yeah. And usually, people often don't take the whole time. So, oftentimes everybody's done um, and then talking about other stuff, but that's okay too.
True.
Mhm.
Yeah. And who can blame them?
Mhm.
So I have 6:44. So
Yep, that's what I have to
6:40.
do.
Okay.
Would you like me to send it again?
What they get 1 more minute? Is it?
Yeah, they got 1 more minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got 6:45 now.
Mhm.
Okay. So now
Yeah.
the last person shares.
Yeah. Go ahead and switch roles, please. Yes.
Yeah.
And then in 2 minutes, just let them know give them a heads up that we're going to, at the breakout room set to close in 60 seconds or 30 seconds.
60.
60. Okay. So let them know when there's 1 minute left, and then you can close the breakout rooms, and
Okay.
because that countdown.
Yeah, it's pretty extreme. It's like,
Yeah, I switched it to 30 seconds on a lot of mine. But
nobody's complained yet, so.
yeah,
Oh, I have a few coming back in. All right.
okay, people are finishing up. Great.
I think as I told them 6:45 at the beginning. Oops.
Yep.
That was a lie.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and write my message out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now my dogs are outside barking.
I think it's their favorite pastime. I don't know. And they go out it seems like they want to go out at a certain time to catch all the people coming home from work, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they need to use their voices too.
I think of it the twilight bark. All right.
Yes.
I got my grand dog a toy called Bark Beer. It's a squeak toy.
Oh,
I think I've got one of those.
nice.
Our favorite is there's one that's the apple pie that has little pieces of apples in it, and there's another one that's a turkey that has a can of stuffing that you can pull out. I've pulled the stuffing out like twice. So I like that one. It takes a minute.
All right. Everybody's coming back little by little.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I got about 30 seconds and they will all.
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I love seeing everyone's faces. It's so nice to see you here. It's one of the things I miss is seeing people, and so it's nice to see faces and expressions. And
Yeah, look around at each other.
Breakout is complete.
Welcome each other.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. It really is wonderful to see you all. So it was just a taste of time and just a taste of talking and a taste of creativity. And if you have a thought or a word, you could put it in chat. Um, or a thought of welcome or a word, you can put it in chat. And we'll talk a little bit just about and we have a little bit of time if somebody wants to share, if anybody wants to hold up their artwork, or if anybody wants to share just briefly your experience or your thoughts.
Amanda's ready.
Okay.
So you can go to speaker view and then you'll see the artwork. I think we want to do it one at a time perhaps. And if you have anything you want to say about your artwork or how it felt to be heard with that level of attention and curiosity and kindness and care. Amanda, did you want to speak to the artwork as well? I saw you held yours up and some other people did too. Do you want to say anything about it?
Yeah, I
surprised myself that I didn't cry when I spoke about my simple drawing. But I felt like I was being listened to and appreciated, and it was good to listen to some other people and what they're going through now too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And
Who else would? Yeah. I'm seeing some wonderful things in the chat. Honored and comforting to speak with others and growth. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak?
I saw someone else put their artwork up. Who was that?
Yeah. I think it was Kimberly.
Kimberly, was
But
that you?
Yeah.
humanity, growth. But I'd love to hear your voices. Feel free to unmute yourself and share.
Because what you have to say, what you have to contribute, may not only help you, but it will help someone else. Because we're all so deeply connected. You might have even noticed similar images in each other's artwork.
I'll go ahead and speak up. I wrote honored. It's really an honor when gathering in the group. I didn't have any expectations of going into the group, but the two women, actually three women that I was with, shared very personal stories. And so I was just very honored to be in that space with them. And while I'm not grieving for any particular losses at this time, I do live with generalized anxiety. And so again, just having a space where being present in this moment, being able to just express myself just through writing, through these tools, and being in a space with others who are experiencing different things. It's just very, I just feel very, very, a lot of gratitude and honored to be in this space. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's an honor, for me anyway, to be here with you all, and to see, I love the chat. As a therapist, it felt so nice to be able to share my experience and be listened to, where in my role, I'm the one listening, reassuring other people, also responding to each other and sharing things. And who else would like to have their voice heard?
Because it does take tremendous amounts of commitment and actual discipline and patience to listen, to truly listen, first to yourself. And that was what the art was about, listening to your heart and what your object was that you picked up about your expectations and how you expanded upon that. That gives you access to your perception, things that are unconscious, how you see your world. That's so important in terms of how you're going to react versus respond to mourning and grief and the opportunities for hope and meaning.
Yeah.
So I wonder if anybody made any connections there with the balance that was our original intention. Did anybody find anything around that happened for you that emerged because of this process?
It did for me. And it's really interesting because you go into this and you don't know what's going to come, and you don't really know what to expect. But as I shared with the group, this Christmas will be 20 years since the last time I saw my father alive. And I've also lost a grandmother on Christmas Day. So for many, many, many years, Christmas is just out for me. Like, it's just not, I just try to glaze over until it's gone. And then I'm coming off of a really big loss on a family friend in September. And so it's just, I don't have any hope. And, but what I did is I looked over and saw my brother's Christmas tree. And there's an ornament that has my nieces and nephews picture on it. And so I wrote, so on one side, I have their initials with the sun. So you have the raining cloud over here, and then I have the initials of the loss, and I have family love at the bottom. And so it just really, right now I'm at a place where I don't really feel like I can find hope for myself, but the hope that I ended up finding as I was doing this project was that almost looking at Christmas in the eyes of them. And, they're so young and they have their whole life ahead of them and they have wonderful things that they're going to do and accomplish. And so it was the first time in a long time that I was really able to even put any hope and connecting it with Christmas.
That's really powerful.
I can
I
feel
didn't expect it to be this powerful, but it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you realize that you carry that in you now, and that we all benefited from hearing your story? I could feel it. I'm sure I'm not the only one in my heart while you were speaking, and when I saw your imagery too. It's just so heartfelt. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's, there's this common humanity that we all have, and everybody has their own process, their own pace, right? Your own timing, but we still have that shared connection. We still have that shared information. We have just a little bit of time left. We have just about 5 more minutes, and so
Oh, I
we'd
see
like.
Linda has her artwork up.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. And
Go
then we
ahead,
can
Linda.
wrap up. Yeah. Go ahead.
So am I sharing yet?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Am
We
I
can
seeing
hear
it?
you.
Yeah, we can hear and see you.
And you can see? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I lost my brother, 58 years old in September. And my mother is here with me. She's off screen, but she's here. And one of the things that he said he loved shortly before he died was some of my artwork. Give me the cup again. And this is my art, and it originally was a 36 by 36 inch canvas, which is what he saw, and then he saw another one that has black hair, and he liked them a lot. And so his liking them encouraged me to decide to do more of those. And but I haven't done any art really since the middle of March when COVID hit. And so really this is the first art that I've done since COVID and since he died. So
Look at that.
and this one before COVID, I was doing art festivals, and so I drew my artist tent right here. So the hope is that that through more art that I do, that I can honor his memory, and yeah, just honor his memory and to enjoy my life, and hopefully honor him through that. So, and I really enjoyed being heard by the group members. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much, Linda,
Yes.
for
Thank
your
you.
courage and your bravery and sharing such emotion and deep connection to your brother, and having your mom here as well. Again, I could just feel it so deep in my own heart, and I know I'm not alone, and you're not alone in this. So thank you.
Yeah.
What a wonderful way to pay homage to your brother as well.
Yes.
I know
So,
that we're out of time practically here.
yeah, I'd like to share some resources that we have, because these are difficult times. I hope that all of you have connected with hope, and Patricia's going to tell us a little bit about self-supportive touch, but they're also. I'm going to share my screen just to make sure that you have. Some information for support, and I think we're going to put this in the chat as well, so that you can, if you need support. That's the whole part, is we need each other, and we need support, and it's okay to request it, and it's okay to reach out to people. And I love you talk about supportive touch so much better than I do. So could actually,
Well, this is the work of Paul Gilbert out of the United
Mhm.
Kingdom. And it's the idea if you have a pet, and naturally when they're hurting or you just want to comfort them or yourself, you pet them. Well, this is called supportive or soothing touch. And one of the most popular places is to place your hand on your heart. If you'd like to just for a moment place your hand on your heart and see if you notice any warmth there or a feeling of comfort. Most of us do, because this spot where you feel your heartbeat is actually connected to your parasympathetic nervous system. So we do this naturally when we're talking about heartfelt experiences. Like, oh, so you can use one or two hands or holding yourself. We all have a spot holding your own hand. So we invite you to consider perhaps exploring some regions, because this is always available, so that you do it on purpose. And it's the idea of offering yourself tenderness because it's a tough time. We're not trying to get rid of the grief, we're offering it compassion and curiosity and tenderness through touch. And these are some other really valuable resources as well. And we invite you to take really extra good care of yourself for the holidays and beyond.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Chris and Patricia. This was a really powerful evening, certainly for me. I'd also like to just mention that there is also the UAB counseling. Well, it's in the School of Education, but there's also it's a service for counseling that's available to anyone in the community, and I think they're doing tele mental health as well. So that's also will. If you are interested in these resources, let Lauren know. Lauren is the one who you sent your RSVP to, and she'll make sure that you get all of these as well. Again, thank you, Dr. Strang and Dr. Isis. This was just wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone, for being willing to go on this little journey with us. And we'll be sending out a survey to everyone just to find out how this was, and then find out what future Virtual Mental Health Mondays you might be interested in as well. We do this once a month. We have different topics, as I mentioned. And so, again, just want to thank you guys so much for being here in this space with us this evening.
Thank you so much.
Healthcare and Dr. Strang, it was such a pleasure.
I really appreciate everyone's willingness to be present and to listen. And thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Couldn't have done it without you. Be safe, be well.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Thank you.